Chosen ones. This message comes with weight. There are moments in life where hesitation costs more than action, where silence is not peace but a missed command. Right now is such a moment. The call is not meant to frighten you, it is meant to align you. When God speaks with urgency, it is because a door is open and that door will not stay open forever. In the Shaolin tradition, we are taught that delay weakens the spirit. Every time you know what must be done and you turn away, a part of your strength dissolves. But when you answer at once with clarity, with discipline, you step into a power that cannot be taken back. This is why the call cannot wait. Today, you will learn why the chosen are called now, in this very season and not later. You will hear the deeper reasons behind urgency and the hidden dangers of hesitation. We will walk through Shaolin principles that show you how to still the noise of fear, how to strengthen your inner discipline, and how to act in alignment with God's timing rather than your own. These lessons are not surface teachings. They reach into the heart of responsibility, presence, and the path of mastery. There are truths here that many overlook. The silence of God is often misread, the weight of being chosen often misunderstood. But by the end of this message, you will see why urgency is a blessing, not a burden, and why the chosen cannot afford to wait. This is Shaolin Soulfire. If you feel the call stirring inside you, stay with me until the last word. And before we begin, subscribe to this channel so these teachings walk with you whenever you need them most. There is a kind of hearing that has nothing to do with sound. You can sit in the quietest room and still miss it. Or you can stand in the middle of a storm and feel it clearly in your chest. This is the listening of the heart. In Shaolin practice, we are taught to sit in silence until the silence itself speaks. At first, the mind will resist. Thoughts scatter like restless birds. The body aches, the minutes feel heavy. But if you stay, if you breathe, the noise within begins to fall away. Then something deeper emerges, not a voice of words, but a presence that guides. Many believe God always comes like thunder, demanding attention, shaking the ground. Yet the truth is often the opposite. The greater the message, the quieter it arrives. Like water soaking into soil, like wind brushing against bamboo. It is subtle but impossible to ignore once you know how to listen. I remember when my teacher told me, the ear hears sound, the heart hears truth. At that time I did not understand. I thought training was only discipline of the body, stances, strikes, endless repetition. But over time I learned that all those forms were only tools to quiet the mind. And in that stillness, the real teaching was waiting. When the heart listens, fear no longer leads you. The command is felt, not forced. You know when to move and when to remain. You sense when to release and when to hold. In this way, the chosen hear God's call not as an order shouted from above, but as a stillness that rises within. And in that stillness, every step becomes clear. The mind loves to wander into yesterday's regrets, into tomorrow's hopes, into places that do not exist except in thought. But mastery begins when you return it to where you are now. The chosen cannot afford to drift, because drifting means missing the step that is right beneath their feet. In the old Shaolin temples, monks were taught that chopping wood and carrying water were not chores but practice. Every movement was a lesson in attention. If you let your mind wander while carrying a heavy bucket, you spill it. If you daydream while holding a blade, you cut yourself. In this way, life itself became the training ground. Presence was not a theory. It was survival, discipline, and clarity woven into every act. Mindfulness is not about slowing down life. It is about seeing it clearly. When your attention is whole, even a single breath reveals its depth. One step on the earth feels like the meeting of heaven and soil. This kind of awareness builds strength, because it roots you in reality rather than illusion. The chosen are tested not in dreams of the future, but in choices of the present. Plans are only sketches. It is the action you take, now this word, this breath, this decision, that forges the path ahead. 1,000 possible roads exist in thought, but the one you walk is built in this very moment. To anchor in the present is to carry your spirit like a flame in still air, protected, steady, unshaken. With this discipline, distractions lose their power and clarity takes their place. The chosen who master presence walk a path that no storm can sweep away, because every step is taken with full awareness and every act becomes a prayer of alignment. Stillness has often been misunderstood. Many think it means doing nothing, becoming blank, retreating from life. But true stillness is not emptiness, it is clarity. It is like a lake when the winds have calmed. Only then can the water reflect the sky without distortion. In the early mornings at the temple before any movement or training began, there was silence. The monks would sit together, breathing as one, the air cold, the world barely awake. No strikes, no forms, no noise, only stillness. This was not wasted time. It was preparation, the ground from which every action would rise. Without it, discipline became mechanical. With it, every gesture carried intention. The mind that rushes is like a blade swung blindly. It may cut, but it does not cut through. The still mind is precise, sharp, and steady. It knows when to act and when to wait. In meditation, one discovers this balance. The breath becomes the anchor, the body softens, and in that quiet direction appears, not forced, not imagined, but revealed. Shaolin masters taught that stillness before action ensures right action. A warrior who charges without clarity exhausts himself. A master who pauses, who gathers strength in silence, strikes once and changes everything. This is why inner stillness is the core of mastery. It saves you from scattering your energy and teaches you to act from alignment rather than impulse. When you cultivate stillness, life no longer feels chaotic. Choices become clearer, burdens lighter, and your steps more deliberate. It is not withdrawal from the world, but the deepest way to engage with it. Stillness sharpens the spirit. From it, the chosen rise not confused or hesitant, but steady, unshaken, and ready for the moment that calls. There is a strength that no weapon can pierce and no storm can break. It does not come from muscle, speed, or skill. It comes from living in truth. A chosen one's shield is integrity, the simple but unshakable alignment between what is felt inside and what is lived outside. In the old teachings, monks were reminded that deceit divides the spirit. A single lie is like a crack in the armor. At first it seems small, but in battle it widens, and through it the enemy finds a way in. In the same way, when your life is built on pretense, even small pressures cause it to collapse. But when every action flows from honesty, the armor has no opening. There was once a student who tried to impress his master by pretending he had practiced more than he had. The master simply said, "You are not lying to me, you are lying to yourself." The boy felt the weight of those words more deeply than any physical correction. For the greatest danger of dishonesty is not being caught, it is becoming divided within. Spiritual power depends on unity. When thought, word, and deed move together, energy flows without resistance. It is like a river unhindered by stones, strong and continuous. But when the current is split, saying one thing, doing another, the force is broken, and what could have been powerful becomes weak. To live in truth is not always comfortable. It demands courage, humility, and discipline. Yet it is the only way to stand unshaken when trials come. Integrity does not make life easier, but it makes you indestructible. And for the chosen, that is the only shield worth carrying. Many long for the title of chosen, thinking it brings honor, favor, or power. But those who truly walk this path know it is not a crown, it is a burden. To be chosen is not to be lifted above others, but to be pressed into greater responsibility. In the Shaolin way, the masters carried their discipline not for pride, but for service. They rose before dawn, trained until their bodies trembled, and meditated until their minds grew clear. None of this was done to glorify themselves. It was done so their strength could protect the weak, their wisdom could guide the lost, and their example could keep the teachings alive for generations. Their discipline was never about them. It was about those who would come after. There's a story of a monk who, after years of training, was told he had reached a high level of mastery. Instead of celebrating, he wept. When asked why, he said, "Now my life no longer belongs to me, it belongs to the path." In those words lies the truth. Responsibility grows heavier the higher you climb. God's call is the same. It is not a gift meant to be displayed, nor a privilege to boast about. It is a call to accountability. To be chosen is to be trusted with tasks others may not carry. It means your discipline must be sharper, your integrity stronger, your patience deeper. Entitlement weakens the spirit, but responsibility strengthens it. Those who treat the calling as privilege will stumble. Those who embrace it as duty will endure. And so the chosen walk, not with pride in their hearts, but with the quiet knowledge that their path is for the sake of more than themselves. Fear is the shadow that waits at every doorway of change. Doubt is the whisper that questions every step you take. Together they hold back the chosen, not by force but by hesitation. Fear delays obedience, and doubt fractures faith. The path remains in front of you, but your own mind builds the wall. In Shaolin training, courage is not treated as a sudden burst of bravery. It is shaped slowly, like water carving stone. Through repetition, through countless hours of breath and stance, the body learns to remain steady even when the mind trembles. Fear may still rise, but discipline keeps the hands firm, the steps grounded, the spirit clear. There is a story of a young monk who was asked to cross a narrow bridge over a rushing river. He froze, overcome by fear. His master walked across with calm steps and returned. Then he told the boy, "The river did not change, only your mind did." In that moment, the boy learned that fear is not in the obstacle, but in the way we see it. The chosen must carry this truth. Uncertainty will always surround them, whether in spiritual calling, in daily trials, or in moments of silence when no clear answer appears. But obedience cannot wait for certainty. Faith is not proven when the path is clear. It is proven when you step forward, even though the way is hidden. To walk through uncertainty without turning back is the mark of inner mastery. Breath steadies the body. Discipline steadies the mind. And with each step, the weight of fear grows lighter. This is how the chosen move, not without fear but beyond it, refusing to let it command their steps. Great change is rarely born in a single moment. It grows quietly, in the rhythm of daily practice. Mastery is not the result of one grand act, but of countless small steps repeated with care. What you do each day becomes the shape of your spirit. In Shaolin life, training was never about dramatic displays. It was about rising with the sun, repeating forms until sweat soaked the floor, breathing until the mind became still. The power people admire in a master strike was not created in that instant. It was built in years of unnoticed repetition. Each prayer, each breath, each movement was a brick laid into an unshakable foundation. There is a tale of a monk who was asked how he became so skilled with the staff. He replied, "I lifted it every day until my body no longer knew the difference between the staff and my own arm." His mastery was not sudden. It was the fruit of consistency, of obedience carried out in motion. The chosen are called to the same path. It is easy to wait for great opportunities, for moments that feel worthy of devotion. But strength is not found there. Strength is built in the quiet choices, waking with discipline, guarding the mind with prayer, returning to the breath when distractions press in. Over time, these small acts carve depth into the soul. They create a strength that does not shake when storms rise, because it has been tested and reinforced through steady practice. Consistency is not glamorous, but it is the true measure of obedience, and from it grows a mastery that no sudden effort could ever achieve. To walk the path of the chosen, one cannot carry everything. Some things must be released, not because they have no value, but because they weigh down the spirit. To answer God's call, the chosen must let go of what weakens them. Shaolin teaching is rooted in simplicity. Monks lived with little, plain food, simple robes, few possessions. This was not poverty, but clarity. They understood that the more the hands cling to, the less they are able to hold. Distractions scatter the mind, attachments cloud the heart. By living with less, they could see more. There is a saying, "A closed hand cannot receive a blessing." A master once showed this truth to his student by handing him a full cup of water, then trying to pour more inside. The cup overflowed, spilling everywhere. Your life is like this cup, the master said. Unless you pour something out, nothing new can enter. The student learned that letting go is not loss, it is preparation. For the chosen, this release often means more than objects. It can mean stepping away from voices that weaken faith, habits that waste energy, or ties that keep the heart bound in fear. It is not always easy. What weakens us can also feel familiar, and what we must release may even be what we once clung to for safety. Yet the call cannot be answered while the spirit is divided. When the chosen let go, clarity rises. The path becomes lighter, steps firmer, the heart freer. In this openness, God places strength where weakness once lived, and direction where confusion once lingered. By emptying the hand, the chosen become ready to receive what is higher, and their journey deepens with every step unburdened. The path of mastery does not divide the body from the mind, or the mind from the spirit. The chosen cannot live in fragments. Strength is not complete when only the muscles are trained. Wisdom is not full when it remains only in thought. Faith is not alive when it does not reach into the body. To walk whole, the physical, mental, and spiritual must move together. In Shaolin tradition, breath, movement, and thought are never separate. A punch is not just strength of the arm, it is focus of the mind, rhythm of the breath, and clarity of intention. When these are divided, the strike is weak. When they are united, the strike carries presence beyond force. In the same way, life itself becomes a form. Every step, every choice, every prayer is stronger when the whole being answers. There is a lesson told of a monk who prayed with words, but let his body slump in laziness. His master corrected him. If your body bows but your heart is absent, the prayer is empty. If your heart prays but your body rejects it, the prayer is broken. Only when body, breath, and mind bow together does heaven hear. For the chosen, listening to God cannot remain in thought alone. The message must enter the breath, settle in the bones, shape the actions of daily life. Obedience is not complete until the whole being responds. When body, mind, and spirit find harmony, clarity deepens. The chosen no longer struggle between thought and action, prayer and practice. They become one living expression of their calling, steady, aligned, and unshakable. In this unity, even the simplest act carries the strength of the eternal. True strength is never carried with pride. It is carried with humility. The chosen are not those who stand above others, but those who bow low enough to keep learning, to keep growing, to remain guided. Even the Shaolin master, after years of discipline, lowers his head to the earth before rising. This is the way of balance, power joined with surrender, wisdom joined with humility. As you walk your path, remember the moments of quiet respect, the choice to listen, the willingness to be taught. These are the foundations of lasting mastery. Let every step be grounded, let every breath carry gratitude, and let your spirit remain open to guidance. In this way, your strength will not falter and your path will remain clear. If this message has spoken to you, carry it gently into your daily life. And before you leave, support this journey by liking the video and subscribing to Shaolin Soulfire so these teachings can continue to walk beside you. May peace and clarity remain with you always.